Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. We're playing Dredge, the budget version this time, not the regular version. And opening hand seems pretty keepable. Opponent plays a Marsh Flats, flips it back to our turn. Our turn, I think we want to Faithless Looting. Do I want Faithless Looting first? Yeah. I mean, Shriekhorn is a really good opening start, like a really good opening play, but I think Faithless Looting pitching Stinkweed Imp is actually better. So I think that's the line of play we're going to go with. There's kind of two lines of plays. Shriekhorn or Skrillex Horn, I don't know what Grumble, is kind of sort of better. And theoretically we could throw Golgari Thug, but I think we're actually going to go with Prize Amalgam. Trying to get the Dredge thing in first. Ship it back to our opponent's turn. Opponent corrects the Marsh Flats, trying to get, picks up a Blood Crypt coming to play tapped. Our opponent's turn, they play an Inspiring Village? That's weird. Are we playing against Mardu Pyromancer, maybe? I have no clue what we're playing against anymore. Opponent's playing something completely off the charts, something I have no clue what it is. So he's playing Discovery, which is Surveil 2, then draw a card. Currently very popular in Standard. And ships it back to our turn. Our turn, we are gonna Dredge the Stinkweed Imp. And our Dredge is another Prize Amalgam and nothing else really. Well, we guess we have another Dredger in the graveyard. On our turn, I guess we run down the Dragon Skull Scummit and then double Horns. I think that seems like a pretty solid play. Double Horn, because that means we're gonna dump a lot of stuff into our graveyard in the next two turns. Because we're gonna play the Horn on our opponent's end step and then on our upkeep as well. So for our Dredge, we'll have lots of stuff potentially dredging in there. So yes, throw a stop on our turn and then ship it to our opponent's turn. Our opponent for their turn plays a Sulfuric Spring, so Sulfurous Springs. Reading cards, my best skill. Cathartic Reunion. So that's weird. Are we playing against like a Mardu style Dredge deck? Oh, apparently I skipped through my opponent's turn. Misplays happen. It's okay. I will gladly accept my punishment. Oh, and Narcomoeba triggers. We could have got double Prize Amalgams. This is gonna be always yes, always yield. So missing my opponent's end step, which would have got us double Prize Amalgams, which would have been way better for us. Not the end of the world, unfortunately. Not the best thing in the world either. Yes, yes indeed. Okay. Our main phase, we are going to, I think we go with Golgari Thug. Bigger, better, bettering is better. Creep and Chill, and an Narcomoeba, very cool. This is gonna be always yes. And this is also yes. So, lots of triggers. Three Prize Amalgams in the graveyard now. Gonna be huge. As far as our turn, we may as well go, we can just go deep if we really want. I mean, we could play Faithless Looting, which is probably a good play plan of attack. That or we could go Extractor Demon, swing for 5. I think that seems like a pretty solid plan. I think we're gonna go, we go Extractor Demon. Our opponent doesn't really have, he doesn't have any way of stopping us, so might as well swing for 5. So attack with all creatures, and then next turn, things will be bigger and better and more scary. After this, I'm just gonna ship it to my opponent's turn. Go, opponent, go. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa. They're gonna go and fetch up something at some point. Sweltering Sun, not a card being played in Modern. Our opponent's playing a very weird deck, it seems like. So 3 damage to each creature, which is a thing that happens. We are gonna just dump more stuff into our graveyard. We should have held up the blah 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 Extractor Demon because we want to get stuff into our graveyard. I mean, good thing our opponent. I mean, this Sweltering Sun, 3 damage to each creature definitely deals with Dredge. Like, that's not a, I mean, it is a thing. It does deal with Dredge. It just puts you off like a turn. It's just like, okay, well, give me one more turn. We can also Reassembling Skeletons on our opponent's turn, which I think is what we're gonna end up doing. So we'll play the Swamp. Unfortunately, Reassembling Skeletons costs 2 to do. Definitely a thing. Okay, well, ship it to our opponent's turn. See what they have to say. Opponent fetches Arid Mesa for what? What is our opponent getting? Another Blood Crypt. Okay, fair enough. Our opponent plays down a Swamp, just a basic land, which is fair enough. It's actually a very cool swamp. I like the Dominaria swamps, they're very cool. And then our opponent decides to finally play something. Another Cathartic. Oh, he's playing He's playing some version of the Mardu Reanimator deck. Oh, I totally know the deck he's playing now. So eventually it's trying to get down Wolfdwell Primus or Ashen Rider to exile non-creature stuff. Yeah, very scary. Very scary if they are on the play. So yeah, especially because Woodfall Primus, so obviously they have some reanimation spells that they haven't hit, which they are really trying to hit. Because they have enough land now. The Mardu Reanimator deck. I haven't seen someone play that. So Unburial Rites. So I think the big thing is we're going to stomp our opponent's face first. Reassembly Skeletons, triggering all of the prized amalgams. Our opponent sees what's up. Goes to sideboard. As far as the sideboard is concerned, we're going to be pulling out 2 Dark Blasts, 2 Extractor Demons, and a Shriekhorn, and we're going to be putting in 3 Tormod's Crypt to deal with his Reanimator stuff, and 2 Duresses to deal with his Reanimator spells that he will have in his hand. With that, we are going to run it back and see what our opponent actually decides he wants to do. Our opponent wisely decides to play first. We have a pretty clutch opening hand, so I think we're going to keep this. We don't have anything that dredges, but we do have something to get rid of his graveyard, which is actually going to be the most important part about stopping his deck. And he also has a way of dealing with our graveyard, so that's a thing. That's a thing that does happen. I mean, we do have this dredge card. We do have a dredge card. So, opponent ships us to our turn. Reassembly Skeleton's pretty cool. I think... Oh, I was just thinking, like, Monarch Amoeba. We could totally just play Monarch Amoeba, but we don't. We don't have a blue source in the budget deck. In the non-budget deck, we definitely have a blue source. So I guess we go like this, and then ship it to our opponent's turn. Our opponent decides to crack Arid Mesa in response to our end of turn. Gonna probably fetch up a Blood Crypt. Yeah, Blood Crypt is the pretty big one that they need to get. Especially when they have an Inspiring Vantage. They basically can cast anything they need to cast for their deck now. So there is the Cathartic Reunion, Ashen Rider, and the Unburial Rites, which is very good for our opponent. Our turn, we might as well throw down the Dragon Skull Summit, and I think we're gonna fake our opponent out a little bit, just a little bit here, because we're gonna pitch a Dredge card. We might as well pitch the Monarch Amoeba. We're never going to play it. Pitch him into the graveyard. And we may as well dredge a little bit to see what we get. Ooh, Reassembling Skeletons. And that's really all we can do. Ship it to our opponent's turn. Obviously, we didn't get crazy dredges, but that's a thing. Our opponent plays down a mountain, and then they still are 1 land away from the flashback cost of this guy. And for now, they're going to Surveil 2 and then draw a card. I think this is actually, now that I look at this, I think this is a really good card for the Mardu Reanimator deck. Really good card for the Mardu Reanimator deck. I should consider trying it out when I revisit that deck. And then our opponent ships it back to us. Play down the mountain. I mean, what are my options here? I could play this Reassembling Skeleton. I could play that Reassembling Skeleton. Can't play the Monarch Amoeba, which sucks. I could play the Shriekhorn, but again, we don't want to dredge too much because he's going to Tormod's Crypt our thing. I think we run down 1 Shriekhorn. I don't even know how to pronounce this card. By the way, I have no clue how to pronounce this. It, like, to me, when I look at it, I look at and say Shriekhorn. Looks like Shriekhorn to me, but I don't, when I sound it out, it's like Shrelkhorn. But that doesn't make any sense either. I don't know what a Shrelkhorn is, so it's a word that doesn't exist, and I hate it. Hate this card. This card's stupid. And I think we just shipped our opponent's turn. Because we're going to reanimate the skeletons. So opponent gets their 4th land. They can now theoretically Unburial Rites, which we will blow up their graveyard in response. Clearly. Which is fine. And then we're also going to reanimate, or going to do the skeletons in response as well. So our opponent doesn't have anything. Mind you, this deck generally does play Lingering Souls, so that is a thing to make note of. I think that's all from us. We're going to start super slowly swinging into our opponent's face now. Like the slowest swings you could possibly imagine. Well, go to combat. Swing for 1 damage. I mean, it's a slow clock, but it is theoretically a clock. And then what do we do? Run down the swamp. I think we run down the 2nd Reassembling Skeletons, run down the other horn, and then I think on our opponent's end step we're going to play the horn because we're going to try and dredge a little bit. We're going to try. The other thing is I'm a little bit leery on dredging too much or like using too much of the horns because there's cards that we put in from our sideboard that we need to draw that they can't be in our graveyard. something to keep mindful of. Sulphurous Springs, and oh, he had a nice little thing there. So he needs another reanimation spell, which he may have. Wow. I want to. So opponents. Oh, nice. Oh no, not nice, not nice. Very not nice. Opponent draws a second one. Let's try and oh, there's an Archimeba. Yes, please. And there's the duress that we wanted. I guess we go like this again. And there's a Stinkweed Imp, so I don't think we need to dredge anymore. Does our opponent blow up our graveyard? Now's the time to do it if they're going to do it. They don't. Well, I guess we're going to go like this. We're going to attack with everything. The nice thing about Stinkweed Imp as well is it does Death Touch, so if he does play the Woodfall Primus, we can always just play it and then Death Touch his stuff. So our opponent blowing up graveyards, which is fine. Which is okay by me. And attack with all creatures. And I don't think we're going to be aiming on the Dredge plan anymore, so we're going to play down the Dakmor Salvage. So play down the Dakmor Salvage, getting a little bit extra land. So as he blows stuff up with Woodfall Primus, we have a little bit less panic with that. The thing about Ashen Rider blows up any permanent, where Woodfall Primus blows up non-creature permanents. So literally any of these things. And I think while we have the mana, before he blows up a lot of our stuff, because Woodfall Primus is going to blow up two things, we're going to Creeping Chill our opponent's face. Does our opponent have a counterspell? White mana type? Who plays that? Who plays that? Seriously. Oh well. We can't pay for it, so that's... No one saw that coming. Seriously, I mean, if you saw that coming, I don't know how you saw it coming. Opponent's turn, Faithless Looting. They must be digging for a reanimation spell at this point. I guess I theoretically could have Shriekhorned for my upkeep, but I didn't. Attack with everything, which is okay. I guess the other thing is we don't want to commit too much to the board as well, because we don't want to theoretically have him blow up our board again. I mean, Anger the Gods, or the other one he had, the Scorching Sun, I think it was, kill our board. Opponent casting something. Footsteps of the Goryo. Yes, sir, you are. So this comes in, blows up one of our lands. Dragon Skull Summit, sure. Oh, he's gonna put us off red. Mind you, we have a mountain in hand. It doesn't get haste, so it doesn't get to do any fun stuff. End step, we will dump a couple cards from our library into our graveyard. And then, again, might as well. Let's stop on our upkeep as well. Double Prized Amalgam. Nothing good. Literally nothing. Nothing good went into our graveyard. So there's Woodfall Primus, gonna come back and blow up the mountain. Because he doesn't know we have another mountain. And the question is, does our opponent blow up our graveyard now? Well, we're going to try and dump stuff into our graveyard. Nice. A lot of nothing. Really lots of nothing. Like all of our prized amalgams and nothing else. Okay, going to our main phase. If I wouldn't have actually double done these guys, I could have swung in, hopefully he blocks one of these guys. And then we can trigger it to trigger the prized amalgams. And then we could have had counter still on this to do more counter stuff. Bad playing on my part. So we're gonna do this. In response, he's gonna blow up our graveyard. Which is fine. I guess theoretically we could have actually played something else down. Oh well, too late now. Too late now indeed. And our opponent has us on a 3-turn clock. 4-turn clock. Not 3, 4-turn clock. That said, he may have other ways of reanimating that comes up, and he has plenty of stuff in his graveyard. So that's the thing. It's a thing that happens. Opponent swings for 5 damage, ships it to our turn. Tormod's Crypt is really a nice thing to see right now. So we go to combat. Attack with both of these guys. We then play the Stinkweed Imp. And then we ship to our opponent's turn. Yes, that is exactly what we do. So Stinkweed Imp has Death Touch. I think it actually, the newest printing says it actually has Death Touch, but according to the card, it actually says it has Death Touch without having Death Touch. If they try any crazy stuff with this, maybe they don't read the card either. I'm gonna put money on the fact our opponent doesn't actually read the card. He probably says, "Hey, it's a flyer." I mean, theoretically, our clock is faster. No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. I'm lying. I know it. He's hard casting Ashen Rider. Didn't see that coming. That's a thing. It's a thing that happens once in a while. I think that's going to make us go to sideboard again. I don't see if there's any way out of this. Okay. Yes. Sideboarding. As far as the sideboard's concerned, I don't think there needs to be any changes, so we're just going to run it back as is. And absolutely, yes, we want to play first. Opening hand is... It's okay. It's keepable. It's not amazing. It's keepable, though. Mostly because we can Faithless Looting and hopefully draw into 2 Dredge cards, or Tormod's Crypt is also nice. As far as pitching stuff is concerned, though, Creeping Chill... Creeping Chill is probably the weakest card in our hand right now. Mind you, that said, so is multiple other things. So we can probably pitch the Mountain, and I guess we could always replay the Skeleton, so we might as well throw the Skeleton into the graveyard. Cast this guy, ship it to our opponent, see what he has to say. Opponent plays an Inspiring Vantage and then ships it back to us. Prize Amalgam, absolutely not what we want to draw. That's a horrible draw. I guess we just ship it to our opponent's turn and we're actually going to play the Reassembling Skeletons out of our graveyard, I guess. Actually, it might have been better to actually play the one out of our hand, actually, come to think of it. Because this guy allows us to trigger stuff once it's in their graveyard. So, bad call on my part. Misplay. Also, opponent plays another Sulfur Springs. Funny in the bad way. Funny in the bad way. Double Prized Amalgams is like literally not what you want to see, quite literally ever. Oh, I could have played this. Wow, super misplays. It's okay. We're not going to panic. We're not panicking. This is not the panic zone anymore. Not the panic zone. Just really bad choice for lines of plays 2 turns in a row, that's all. Really bad. 2 times. Destroy target artifact. That's a thing. It's a thing that happens. Faithless Looting. That's not bad at all, to be honest. Yes. And then we pitch both Prized Amalgams. Do we Cathartic Reunion, pitching these 2 things? If we hit a Narcomoeba, that would be really cool. Otherwise, we could guarantee that we trigger stuff. Yeah, I think we just do that. So go to combat, swing for 1, get the Prized Amalgams back. Because having a couple 3/3s is going to be nice. It's going to be very nice, if you ask me. Opponent plays his own Faithless Looting. And if he's going to dump some scary stuff into his graveyard, I'm going to be a little bit terrified right now. Yeah, Woodfall Primus and an Ashen Rider. Both scary cards. And because our opponent's not going to do anything else, I think we're just going to go for anything. We're going to go for the Reassembling Skeletons, Prized Amalgam trigger. Yes. Go to our turn. Ooh, look at that. Look at those 2 sexy Prized Amalgams coming into play. Our turn. Ooh, there's the Prized Amalgam. That would have been bad because we would have actually drawn those, which is not what we wanted. I think we start out by going to combat. And what is a better line of play? Faithless Looting, pitching 2 cards, or Cathartic Reunion, pitching 2 cards, drawing 3 cards? Why is Faithless Looting better? Well, because if we draw into a Dredge card, we can actually throw it away. So that's going to be the plan. Oh, our opponent has another Mana Scythe. That's fine. That is completely fine. We don't have a way of paying for it. But we do have another one in our graveyard. We have stuff. We're not panicking. We're not freaking out here. It's not the freak out zone anymore. And we do have a leg up on our opponent. Our opponent playing one of these guys is going to be good for him. I mean, at least we don't have Dredge stuff going on right now. At least. And there goes our all of our stuff. Goodbye. It's nice seeing you. Not so okay anymore. Well, we could do both, so we may as well do both. We'll do Faithless Looting first. Throwing away nothing? Like, everything here we got is garbage? I guess we go like this. As much as I want to duress our opponent... No, duress is gonna be... is the option. It is the option. Because we need to get rid of... He has double Footsteps of the Gorio. That is a hard play. I should have actually... Is there any better line of play? I guess I could have theoretically went to Cathartic Reunion. Duress was the better play, though. Yeah, and I think this is going to be us losing the game now. Because drawing land is a thing. Or not drawing land is a thing. Yep. Double land, and he gets a 5/5. Sweet. I say sweet, but I actually love the deck he's playing. So opponent blows up 2 of our lands. Goodbye, land number 1 and number 2. Oh, sweet. It's a tap land. It's even a dredge land if I really wanted to dredge with it. Well, we'll play it because it'll allow us to actually do stuff down the road. And our opponent now has the 4th mana, so they can actually... Oh, no, because we didn't discard it. So if they have a way of discarding Unburial Rights, then we're in big, big, big trouble. No, they just drew an extra land and they can hardcast it. So this is us. This is us playing Budget Dredge against Mardu Reanimator. Mardu Reanimator, very cool deck. Not overly good in the actual current meta, but it is a very good deck. Mostly because a lot of the decks in the current meta run off of like 2 lands, which is insane, or 3 lands technically. Yeah. Dragon Skull Summit. It's always fun. What do I do? I guess I can try Cathartic Reunion. I don't think this is going to do anything for me, but we're going to try. Why, you say? Because we could theoretically hit double Creeping Chill. No, we don't. We don't hit anything of value. So we have a 1-turn clock. 1 turn. If we draw into something awesome, then cool. If we don't, then not as cool. So 10 damage. Is there anything that I can draw that gets me out of this? I don't think so. And it is a swamp. Well, I think we have to go with Faithless Looting. And I don't think it's going to do anything for us because we're both going to draw 2 cards off the top of our deck. Yeah, GG opponent. G and G. Okay, well, this has been Adrian playing Dredge. Until next time, thanks for watching, and check out tomorrow's video for another less budget version of this deck.